Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's me, Purposely Tasha. I am back with my sister Tony, and we are talking about our lives growing up in this series. So today we are going to be talking about how to move on after a traumatic experience. I know traumatic is a big word, big scary word that sounds like, I don't know, something super duper horrible has happened to you. But this can be for anybody, anyone who has recently or in the past experienced in extremely uncomfortable situations in which you're still feeling the reverberations of that situation today. Basically, if trauma is too big a word for you and you don't relate. So if you've experienced anything uncomfortable, that is what we're talking about today. How to move past that. Okay, so I'm gonna let Tony start.
Okay, so how to shift your perspective after after trauma. So basically, what I do is that I say positive words of affirmation. So like, if I'm in a situation, and for example, when I was in high school, I lived with second generation cousin who basically made my environment not safe and made me feel not safe. And so I felt like I was in jail. I was caged in. She isolated me from friends, family. I wasn't really able to communicate. I was just stuck at home. So I call it jail. So how did I shift my perspective? What I did was, like, I knew that I couldn't change my situation. I couldn't make her like stop behaving the way she did. I couldn't make her stop treating me the way she did. I couldn't. So what I had to do is I said, okay, what can I do for myself? And so I can remain sane and calm and survive through this time. And one of the things that I've done is that I love to go to church, like that one church that I went to, First Baptist Church of Glenarden. I loved going there. That was like my safe place. And then I also love to like write my feelings. And when I wrote my feelings, I noticed that I have to start saying great things about myself. And when I wrote down those great things, then I continue to say that each day, I started to really believe them and not listen to what other people may say about me. Oh, she's a bad child. Oh, she's ungrateful. All these other things. I just started to say, you know what? I am grateful. I am a wonderful child. I'm intelligent. All this stuff. The I am. Tasha says it a lot at her events, but that's something that I had to do. And it may seem like, oh, it's taking too long, I'm not really feeling it. You have to shift your mind. You have to say, you know what, I want to get better. You can't help somebody that doesn't want to be helped. I learned that. And so if you are at that breaking point where you're like, I'm tired of feeling like I'm tired of being in this hole, I want to get out. Well, start screaming it out your lungs. Start telling people, like, when somebody has something to say about you, sometimes you don't even need to respond because you have to know who you are. Get to know who you are. I honestly believe that when you shift your perspective it goes hand in hand with getting to know who you are as a person, and that will help you communicate well with other people when you know who you are. So what anybody says, it's like you already have a shield on because you know who you are. You know who you are inside, and no one can tell you anything different. So yeah.
Okay. So I definitely agree with her. When she was saying that, I was thinking about my life during the transition. So when we got taken from our mother when I was in 12th grade and I was at my aunt's house, I had a prayer journal and I would write down all my prayers. If you guys want to see a video on that, like on my actual prayer, like maybe I'll read some and kind of reflect on it. But I have a prayer journal that I kept during that time, and I was like thinking when she was talking, like, is it next to me? Can I find it? But I have a prayer journal, and that's definitely something that I did at that point. Sometimes you do things you have because it's almost, well, not it's almost, it is innate for you to try and survive. That's just what happens. And sometimes you don't realize how strong you are or the good coping skills that you did have until you look back. Because I would like to think I did not have good coping skills. But when I look back and look at those prayers that I wrote, I really wrote my heart out to God. Some of it seems juvenile. Some of it seems like, why are you praying about that? But it also shows me where my mindset was at during that time. Because a lot of my prayers were about boys and God, please let him be like. And, I just wanted to be attached to someone. I wanted someone to love me. Anyways, I'm going off on a different tangent. But if you guys want to see a video about that, let us know. We can definitely do a video about that. That is also featured in our video that we talked about the 3 negative things we learned from growing up with a mentally ill parent. So if you want to see that video, I'll definitely link it somewhere up top. We also did a video on 3 positive things we learned from growing up with a mentally ill parent. I'll link that somewhere too. But make sure you watch the whole series. I'm pretty sure that you will be able to relate and that you would grow from this channel. Okay, so back to what I was saying. How to shift your perspective after a traumatic experience. This is me speaking in hindsight and looking back on the things I went through and from experience saying this is what I think you should do and this is what I wish I did more intentionally on purpose. First is to understand that energy cannot be destroyed. It cannot be destroyed. So that trauma, that uncomfortable situation, right? When it happens, it releases energy. It releases things into the spiritual world. And so that energy cannot be destroyed. It's transferred, right? So the sadness, the depression, the things that happen during traumatic or an uncomfortable situation, the broken heart, the yearning for the emptiness, something left you. So imagine the energy of your mother, right? The energy of your mother being there, of your siblings being there. That imagine your family, that being a complete package, a complete, equation. And then all of a sudden, it being a part of you, it being one thing, all of a sudden, all your members, all your parts are ripped away from you and all you have is yourself. That energy that's there, that's supposed to be there to create that perfect equation is now gone, is now missing. So now you have this emptiness that's in these spots where my sister was, where my brother was, where my brothers were, where my mother was, right? I have that emptiness. And so that energy was now, it couldn't be destroyed, so it was transformed into depression, into sadness, into insecurity, into a lot of negative things, but it was also transformed into resilience. It was also transformed into endurance. It was also transformed into perseverance. It was also transformed into a strong personality. It was also transformed into independence. It was also transformed into loving hard, being able to love hard. It was also transferred into having a fight for life. It was also transformed into survival skills. It was also transformed into wisdom. It was also transformed into power. Right? So what I'm saying is that you have to be able to transform the energy that you have experienced. Whether it was your fault you experienced it, whether it was their fault that you experienced it, that's at this point it's already happened, and you have to shift your mind and say, I may not have been, or you may have been responsible for the trauma, for the uncomfortable situation. But at this point, it's all about healing, right? So first you need to get that perspective, and then you need to understand that that energy was transferred to you. And now you're about to transform it into strength, into resilience, into power, into wisdom, into knowledge, into a great work ethic, into, all these powerful things, and build upon those things until you become strong enough to then go back and deal with the things that brought you down, or the negative things that you're still dealing with, or the character traits that might not be so good. Okay, so I just truly believe that, and I truly hope that we are making sense and that this video really helps you, because I truly believe that we did not go through what we've been through just to have gone through it and sit back in life and not share our story. I believe that what we have been through can help you. And if not you, someone you know. And if not them, someone they know. Because we know that at least everyone on this video that's watching knows somebody that has been affected by a person that has a mental illness, or know someone that has a mental illness. And so our experience, we know, is going to change the masses. So we just ask that you share this video, you like this video. Please remember to subscribe and hit the bell notification so that you don't miss any videos. Feel free to comment down below anything. And also be sure to ask us questions, because we're going to do a Q&A video as well. Any last things you want to say?
No, I hope you guys enjoy this. And honestly, you know, please comment.
She said no, and then she started talking. Go ahead.
Yeah, I be rapping a little bit. But no, for real. Like, if you, because some things we're not getting, like, deep in because we're trying to be on the time frame. But if you have some things that we said, like, and
that
you
hit
like
home with you,
yeah, and you want us to elaborate,
please
comment.
Yes, we're definitely looking for more videos to do on this series. So from your comments, from your questions, if we feel like we can do a whole video on it, we definitely will. So you can follow me on Instagram at purposefully Tasha, and I would love to have you. All right, bye. All right, peace out.
Hey